My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies, and at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, I get to do two things I absolutely love doing. I've been looking forward to filming this episode all day. The first thing is I get to talk some business with you. And the second thing is I get to open up some boxes of cards, and you're going to watch me do it because it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. And the business that I want to talk about today is something that happened a few weeks ago that has the potential of changing the hobby forever. And I don't think enough people have really thought through the potential impact of what happened and how it could affect the future of how cards are bought and sold in our hobby. And I really hope it does change the future, because the change would be definitely for the better. I am going to explain that today. I'm excited to dive into that. But first, I want to tell you about an awesome new post that is on my blog, sportscardinvestor.com right now. It's by R.A. Rowell, The Rise of Relief Pitchers in Baseball and What Does It Mean for the Hobby. This is an intriguing topic because I know a lot of you baseball card investors and collectors out there are quick to say that there is no money in relief pitchers and you are wasting your money if you're trying to buy relievers, especially like a middle reliever. Like, no one wants those guys' cards. But baseball is changing. Relief pitchers have much more importance than they did in the past. And is the hobby going to change along with it? Could there actually be value in relief pitcher cards going forward? You should check out the article on sportscardinvestor.com and then leave your thoughts in the comments of the article. Let me know what you think. But today, let's get right into the topic at hand. I want to talk about this event that happened a couple of weeks ago that I think has the potential to change the hobby forever. And what I am talking about is how Topps and StockX paired together to do an initial public offering, an IPO, where they released a new product through StockX's website that was sold direct to the consumer in a really interesting way, a blind Dutch auction. And the mechanics behind how that worked were tremendously smart, and if applied to other areas of the hobby, would have a massively positive impact for people who buy cards such as you and I. Now, what happened was Topps and StockX got together and they created this new set of cards called Bowman Chrome X. Now, if you have heard anything about these cards, if you have seen anything about these cards have come out with not the greatest reviews. I've heard some criticism of these actual cards. Some people have complained that there were no autos in this set. Some people have complained that the color green, which these cards are, is an unpopular parallel color of cards that they used. And some people have complained that every card in the set is graded already. So it's actually PSA graded coming out of the box. But apparently, a lot of them are coming out of the box graded as a 9. So some people are complaining that the grades on this set, they came out of the box graded pretty low. But this is not, the show that I'm talking about today actually isn't about this set and these cards and whether you like these cards or not. It's not about these cards nearly as much as it is about the mechanism by how these cards were sold, because that's the real point. And that's what people are missing the significance of. Now, if you are interested in these cards and what are these cards and how do they look, you're going to get your chance to see them in a minute, because I've got 6 boxes unopened of these cards sitting in front of me, and I'm going to bust them open here in just a moment. So you get to take a look at what these cards look like, and together we see what we think of these cards. Hopefully I'll get some gem mint ones, not some of the ones that were graded a 9 as I begin to open these boxes. But I wanted to talk about the mechanism by which these were sold and why it would be such a good thing for the hobby. So let me give you a little bit of background. If you weren't familiar with how this process took place, Topps and StockX got together and Topps created 3,100 boxes of these cards. So Bowman Chrome X, the checklist is 100 players deep, and every single card is serial number to 31. So there you go, right? 100 players deep, serial number to 31. That's 3,100 cards, and that's why there are 3,100 boxes of these cards that have been created. So Topps created 3,100 boxes, and they partnered with StockX to sell the 3,100 boxes of these cards, but they were sold in a very untraditional way. The traditional way that Topps would sell any product would be that they would create them, and then they have a distribution network. Topps and Panini, they have wholesalers who they would send the product to. The wholesalers would buy the product from Topps or Panini or Upper Deck or whatever card manufacturer we're talking about at a wholesale price, a very, very low price compared to what you would eventually buy the price for at retail. And then the wholesaler would then take a markup on the product, and then they would turn around and sell it to retailers. So they would sell it to your local card shop, or they would sell it to the online card shops like a Blowout Cards or a store like that. The wholesalers would sell it to the retailers. Then the retailers take their own markup, normally a pretty significant markup, and then they sell it to you and I, the end consumer. So by the time we're buying a box of cards like this, typically, it has already been marked up along the distribution chain a few different times. So the actual dollars that Topps sees from a product that they sell is normally going to be less than 50% of what the actual end consumer ended up paying for that product. And that's typical of any distribution chain, any type of business. So it's not just baseball cards. It could be how you buy, office supplies or how you buy milk. It doesn't matter. This same distribution chain typically occurs, and the people who actually made the product you're buying are oftentimes getting significantly less than 50% of what the product is eventually sold for, because the retailer is taking a big markup, the wholesalers are taking a markup. There's markups throughout the way. But in this case, Topps said, we're going to sell the product direct to consumer. And they sold it through StockX's website. Now, selling a product direct to consumer through a website is not a novel idea. In fact, Panini does this all the time with their first off the line releases. As you know, if you go onto Panini's website, when they're doing a first off the line release, that is an opportunity for you to buy a new box that's coming out direct from Panini. And Panini alters the box a little bit. It's not the same exact box that you would end up buying like in a hobby shop or a local card store. Panini does something special with the box. They put some special cards, limited print runs to make the box a little bit different. But you're buying it direct from Panini. But the inefficiency, so even with the direct to consumer purchase, the inefficiency that occurs is that cards are never ever sold through the distribution system, whether it's a distribution system that involves wholesalers and retailers, or whether it is direct on a manufacturer's website that you're buying a first off the line box. The cards are never actually sold at the true market value for what those cards are. Those cards are never sold for what the true market value is. So let me give you an example. Panini recently did a first off the line for their Immaculate Collegiate College Basketball product this year. That came out about a month or so ago. There was a ton of hype around it. People were on the website. The moment that product hit the website, people were trying to click and buy and buy and buy. A lot of people didn't end up getting boxes. The traffic to the website was enormous. Panini has had all kinds of technical problems with their first off the line releases, especially the popular ones, especially some of the basketball ones this year. And so what happens is a subset of people are able to buy that product for, let's say, $500 direct from Panini, but then they're instantly showing up on eBay, for $800, $1,000 or more, and they're selling for that price. So what that tells you is that Panini did not have that product priced at accurate market value. Accurate market value is actually significantly more than what Panini was selling that product for. Now, the same thing happens in reverse occasionally. Panini will occasionally put out a first off the line release on their website and then actually not have the release sell out. And if Panini cannot sell out a first off the line release on their website, that tells you that the market wasn't there for that product. And in fact, Panini overpriced the product a bit. It hasn't happened very often recently because the hobby has been so hot that most of the first off the line releases have been selling out extremely quickly, but there have been some cases where those boxes have lingered on Panini's website for a bit of time, and there has not been the fever to buy those boxes. And then also in the resale market, the boxes are not going for what people even bought them for off of Panini's website. So again, that's the problem of Panini is not selling the product to you at its true market value. The same thing happens through the distribution chain. If Panini were to say this year that the manufacturer's suggested retail price on a box of Prism is, let's say, $200, and so Panini's selling them and they're going through the distribution chain and they're getting to the local card stores and the card stores are selling them for $200, you better believe that people would be scooping those things up left, right, and center, tossing them on eBay the second that they get home from the card shop, and they're going to be going on eBay for double that. But what is actually happening this year with the distribution chain is that everyone involved in the distribution chain is aware of how crazy the card market is this year, particularly around basketball cards. So what's actually happening is the wholesalers who Panini sells the cards to, they are, from what I've heard, getting a little bit of an extra markup. They're playing some games this year in terms of how they're distributing the cards. And so they're trying to figure out ways to optimize their profit on the back of the popularity of these releases that are coming out. And then these releases are getting to your local card stores, and your local card stores are marking them up beyond what they would typically mark those products up for. So they're going beyond, what would be a reasonable, typical suggested retail price, and they're getting extra markup because they know that if they don't do it, then people will just scoop up the product and sell them for that elevated price on the secondary market anyway. So why wouldn't they just sell them for that elevated price so that they can keep the profit right off the bat? And that's why you're seeing pre-orders of products like Prism right now through a lot of the major websites and card stores at such a higher price than what you have seen in previous years, because there's already markup that is being built into this product along the entire distribution chain. So basically, for the manufacturer, what is happening is, in this case, Panini, they are not seeing this additional profit and this additional markup that is taking place throughout the course of the supply chain, or the distribution chain rather. They're not seeing that market. That markup is getting taken at various places. As the consumer, we may or may not be buying that product at the actual true market value for that product. No one really knows what the market value is until people scoop up that product from their local card stores or their online websites, and then they attempt to go resell it. But there's a solution. And the solution is what Topps and StockX just did with the Blind Dutch auction, the release of these cards via the Blind Dutch auction. You see, the way that this worked was that Topps put all of these cards up on StockX's website, but instead of saying, hey, here's the price for each box, which is what Panini would have done with one of its first off the line releases, instead, Topps and StockX said, come to our website and tell us what you're willing to pay. Put in a bid for a box of these cards. And over the course of 3 days, we're going to be accepting bids from anybody who wants to come to the website and put a bid in for what they think that these cards are worth, what they would be willing to pay for a box of these cards. And at the end of 3 days, we will look at how many boxes of these cards we have, and we will look at all of the bids that are the top bids on these cards, and the people who bid the most will be the people who get a box of these cards. But what's really unique is that in the blind Dutch auction format, you don't actually end up paying what you bid. If you were one of the winners, you don't end up paying what you bid. You actually end up paying what the lowest bid was that got accepted. So in the case of this particular product, there were 1,100 individual boxes of cards sold this way, and there were 400 cases of 5 boxes of cards sold this way. So for example, I bid and won both of these products. So for the individual box of cards, I bid $61. I had no idea what they were going to sell for. In my mind, I was like, you know what? I think $60 is probably what I'm willing to pay. And I think that that's a pretty healthy bid for the product. I'll put in 61, get that extra dollar in there to get tricky in case it makes a difference with me winning the product. And so there were 1,100 of these sold. The 1,100 bid was $50. So everybody who bid who won only had to pay $50. So I only had to pay $50 for this box of cards, even though I was willing to pay $61. So these cards came out the gate, me having to pay $50 in that auction type of format. Now with these cases, these are 5-box cases. So I was like, well, I'm going to bid $61 for an individual box of cards. So I'll bid I think I bid $306 for a 5-box case. Basically, I was willing to pay $300, just like I was willing to pay $60 for an individual pack, $300 for a 5 count. And then I'm like, I'll throw an extra $6 on there. So, so in case that makes the difference with me winning the auction. Well, actually in that case, I was really close to what these ended up selling for. These ended up going for $300 each. The 400th bid was $300. So I was probably just above the cut line. So I got one and had to pay $300 for these boxes. But what happened was, when I received these boxes, I know that I've got these boxes at a relative market value. So the price that I paid was not a price that Topps just thought the cards were worth and thought that I should have to pay, which is the case with Panini's First Off the Line. When you go to Panini's website and you're buying a First Off the Line product, you're simply paying what Panini thinks you should pay, right? They think the cards are worth that, but that's not necessarily representative of true market value. In this case, I'm not paying what Topps thought the cards were worth or what StockX thought the cards were worth. Rather, I'm simply paying what the bid was at the cutoff line that told you what the cards were actually worth. So it's more of a true market value in terms of what I'm actually paying. It is, in my opinion, a much more fair and much superior system to buying cards, particularly compared to what's happening this year with basketball cards and with the distribution system that is going to get so crazy. When you walk into your local card shop to go buy Prism cards a month from now, when they're in your local card shop, first of all, they're probably already going to be sold out. But second of all, whatever price they are sitting there selling at is going to be a big markup off of what you otherwise might expect to pay. Is it going to be representative of fair market value? Maybe. Or is it going to be too high? Possibly. Is it too low? Maybe. Is there an opportunity to scoop them up and go sell them on eBay for a markup? Maybe. In previous years, 100% absolutely. This year, I don't know, because I'm fearful that there's going to be so much markup taking place throughout the distribution chain that there actually won't be that strong of a secondary market for unopened wax this year, simply because the prices they're going to come out at is going to be so high right off the bat because of this distribution chain that I worry is going to get greedy along the way. But what if Panini were to have taken all of their basketball cards this year, all of their Prism product, and put it on their website? And what if they were to have done the same type of blind Dutch auction that Topps and StockX just tested with this Bowman Chrome X product? You could go onto Panini's website and you could say, I am willing to pay this amount for a box of Prism. And All of these people would do that, and the real market value of a box of Prizm would actually get set. And then all of the cards would get shipped out to everybody who won the auctions directly. All of the boxes would. And when you got it, you knew that you were getting it at a fair price, at a price that was representative of market value the moment that you receive those cards. So in my opinion, it is an extremely smart, savvy way to be selling cards. I give kudos to Topps and StockX for trying it with this product. And even regardless of whether you like this product or you didn't really like this product, that's not the point. The point is it was a really unique, compelling way of selling the product. And in my opinion, if manufacturers shifted to all new releases using this method of selling the product, it would be a lot better and more fair for the end consumer. Is it ever going to happen? Absolutely not. It will never, ever, 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 ever happen. Why will it never happen? For a couple of reasons. First of all, the scenario that I just described means that retailers would get cut out and wholesale distributors would get cut out. And Panini and Topps are not going to do that. They have relationships established with card stores. They've got relationships established with Topps and Walmart. They got relationships established with distributors, and they're going to honor those relationships. Now, I think it's possible you'll see some more direct-to-consumer offerings, but there's in any type of business that has a distribution chain with wholesalers and retailers, there's always a pressure on the manufacturer from the wholesalers and the retailers to not have the manufacturer go and sell too much directly to consumer. That's always a pressure that exists because the wholesalers and the retailers don't want to get cut out. So Panini and Topps are going to be wary of doing too much direct to consumer. I think you'll probably see a little bit more of it, but you're not going to see, it's probably not going to result in the sweeping change that I think it should result in that would actually make the hobby a lot more fair. The other thing too, to be quite honest, big companies that make a lot of money are often frankly lazy. They are tied to the way that they make money. They want to protect the way that they make money, and they get comfortable and they get complacent. And I see it all the time. And it's why startups are so effective at disrupting big companies. It's why I invest in startups. It's why I start startups, because startups move with agility and they aren't encumbered by existing relationships with distributors or anything like that. So startups can go into a marketplace and they can disrupt the big guys because the big guys are complacent because they're making a lot of money and they're happy with how things work. And why, if you're Topps or Panini, are you going to rock the boat and completely replace your distribution chain with a new way of manufacturing? If you're satisfied with the money that you're making and you've got good relationships and everything is going fine for you, why are you going to rock the boat and try this radical new distribution method for a wide variety of your releases? You're probably not going to do that. Now, what I would ordinarily say is that makes Topps and Panini ripe for disruption from a startup. But unfortunately, it doesn't. And the reason why is because Topps and Panini have exclusivity. And Upper Deck too. I keep talking about Topps and Panini, but the same is true with Upper Deck and hockey. They have exclusivity. Topps has the exclusive MLB license. Panini has the exclusive NFL license and the exclusive NBA license, and Upper Deck has the exclusive NHL license. And unfortunately, that means that there is not a startup that can come along and start making sports cards and go with a brand new distribution method using the StockX style initial public offering distribution method and actually disrupt the big guys. I wish it could happen. And frankly, the fact that these companies have those exclusive deals, that's the danger with exclusivity. Like, exclusive contracts is similar to being a monopoly. And there's a reason why our government doesn't like big monopolies to exist. Because when a big monopoly exists, it actually is a threat to capitalism, because capitalism is all about the little startups being able to come in and the free market being able to decide who is best and the startup being able to disrupt the big guy. Capitalism wants that to occur. But when you get big companies with exclusive deals, it prevents disruption from occurring. It prevents better ideas from coming forward. And unfortunately, that's what we're seeing in the sports card market. And you know, you've got these companies that Topps and Panini and Upper Deck, and they're not, unfortunately, in my opinion, they're not going to rock the boat too much with their distribution method because they don't have to. And if they didn't have the exclusive deals that they have with the different sports leagues, they would absolutely have to try to figure out how to be more innovative when it comes to their distribution models. They would absolutely have to do more stuff like that, but they don't have to. They don't have to because they got the exclusive deals, and you're going to buy basketball cards, and I'm going to buy basketball cards, and you're going to buy baseball cards, I'm going to buy baseball cards, and we're just going to put up with it. We're just going to put up with it. We're going to put up this year. I'm going to buy Prism this year, and I'm going to put up with the markup that's going to be taking place throughout the distribution chain. I'm just going to put up with it because I have to, because I have no other choice. And it's sad to me as a consumer, and it's sad to me as a business person that I don't have another choice. I do applaud Topps for trying this test with StockX. I think it was a really cool test, and I hope they do more of it. Again, I'm not holding my breath that they're going to do a ton of it. I think they'll do some little things here and there. I don't know that Panini is going to do any of it because I get the impression that Panini is less progressive when it comes to stuff like this. But I wish they would. I wish Panini would give this a shot with basketball this year. It would have made so much more sense if they had done it, even if they just did it for their first off the line releases. Panini, instead of having your website crash all the time because you can't handle the traffic by trying to sell all of these boxes at one specific point in time, why not open it up for a couple of days for people to bid whatever they're willing to pay for the box? And then if you've got, 4,000 first off the line boxes, you sell those 4,000 to the 4,000 highest bids. Do it that way. It's such a smarter way of selling your product. It's so much less random. And by the way, it will put a lot less stress on your servers, which you have proven you cannot handle stress on your servers. So switch to this method. It will be better for the consumer, and it will be better for your IT staff. It will be better for everybody involved. I wish Panini would do it. I wish Topps would do more of it. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But man, would it make a difference if it did. Okay, enough business talk. Let's actually see this product. I've been talking about this product here now for 20 minutes from a business perspective, but let's pop open these boxes. Let's see what we got. I'm sure you're curious to see what this is all about, and can you actually get a positive return on this product. Interestingly, not a lot of cards from this product have been sold on eBay yet, but I did notice your big names, obviously, like a Tatis or a Vlad or an Alonso. I did see that a Tatis was pulled from one of these boxes and sold on eBay the other day for $750. It was listed as a $1,750 buy it now, sold for $750. So if you pull a Tatis, you're doing really, really well. Because again, these individual boxes went for $50 each, and the cases of 5 boxes went for $300. So $60 per box coming out of the cases. And the reason why the cases went for a little bit more, because that might sound a little surprising that you actually had to pay a premium to buy more. But StockX guaranteed I think it was a top 30 player in the cases. So at least one of the boxes in the cases, I guess, has a better player in it. So you have a better chance of a hit. And that's why they went a little bit more. All right, so let's pop these open. All right, so first up, I'm going to open up this individual box of the Bowman X Chrome. Willens Astudillo of the Minnesota Twins, utility player for the Twins. Oh, but graded a PSA 9. Graded a PSA 9. Ah, man, I tell you, gosh, these encased products that these companies do where they come out of the box graded, why are you manufacturers creating products that can't grade a 10 when you're literally printing the product and taking it straight to the grading company and no one's touching it? It's not even going into a pack. Why can't it grade a 10? Why can't you print the products? If no one's touching it other than you and the grading company, why can you not get it right so they won't print a 10? That is disappointing. All right, let's take a look at the second box here. We got Enyel De Los Santos, the Phillies pitcher who made his major league debut last year, I believe. And that's graded a Gem Mint 10, so that's good. We got a PSA 10 going on there. Happy to see that. Tony Santillan. Okay, so prospect for the Reds, and it's a PSA 10. So we did get a PSA 10 out of the product. That is good news. He is a pitching prospect for the Reds. All right, let's get this third box open here from the case. Corbin Burnes, the pitcher for the Brewers. So 3 pitchers in a row, and thankfully Corbin Burnes, another PSA 10. So 3 pitchers so far, and 3 PSA 10s out of 4 total cards. I would love a couple more hitters. All right, we're gonna open up the next box. Here we go. Give me a hitter. Okay, we got Nick Madrigal. Okay, that's not bad. He was, I believe, the 4th pick in the 2018 draft, a second baseman for the Chicago White Sox. Pretty good player for the White Sox. So hopefully his career will turn out in a good way. That's a nice card, and that's a PSA 10 as well. So that's a good sign. All right, so our 5th and final box from the case that we're opening up here. All right, Carter Kieboom of the Washington Nationals. He's a top 30 prospect, so that's pretty good. PSA 10 card of Carter Kieboom, top 30 prospect for the Nationals. So there you have it. Those are the 6 cards that I got. 3 pitchers, 3 hitters. A couple of nice prospects there. Nothing crazy. Would have liked a bigger name pull out of the boxes, but I got a couple of pretty decent prospects there. So certainly some things I can work with. 5 PSA 10s, 1 PSA 9. Decent looking cards. I think that the product itself is fine. Again, the purpose of the episode, not as much about the product as the actual distribution system on how I got these cards, but kind of nice to look at the cards nonetheless. And I've got some prospects now that I hope will continue to pan out in the years ahead. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. Make sure to go to sportscardinvestor.com and check out that post by R.A. Rowell on relief pitchers. And if it's worth investing in relief pitchers in baseball, go check out that article. And of course, join our Facebook group and our Discord chat server to keep the conversation going. Thanks for joining. See you on Wednesday for our next show.